From November 14th to 21st, we're inviting you to join us for a powerful trip to Ghana. This isn't just a vacation. This is a chance to walk through the same places where many of our people were captured, held, and shipped off into slavery. So don't wait. Secure your spot today. We're making history by walking through it. Will you be with us?
My name is Naledi Mfoloe, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to the latest edition of the African Diaspora News channel, where we unravel the stories that shape our world and our communities. Mali just pulled the plug on TV5 Monde again, and just maybe it's about time we stop letting former colonizers tell our stories. Now, the High Authority for Communication has once again suspended the French state-owned broadcaster TV5 Monde, accusing it of airing biased and vicious content during coverage of an opposition protest in Bamako. Now, this actually marks the second time in less than a year that the French outlet has been pulled off the air. The HAC claims that TV5 Monde's reporting was unbalanced and painted Mali's security forces in a very false light. And this move actually follows similar actions against France 24, RFI, and LCI, which are all prominent French channels accused of actually spreading destabilizing narratives in the Sahel. Since 2022, Mali has permanently banned France 24 and RFI. However, with that being said, the three nations now operate their own joint media initiatives, which is AES Web TV, which is actually a state-led media space that seeks to inform Pan-African future under joint governance. Now, let me speak not as a journalist, but as an African woman who has actually watched the media tell Africa's story through foreign eyes for far too long. Personally, I am completely proud of Mali, proud of Burkina Faso, proud of Niger, because for centuries, the African narrative has been controlled and it has been manipulated by those who colonized our lands. And we all know that the French state in particular has had unrestricted access to shape global perspective of the Sahel specifically, which is often reducing our nations to nothing more than headlines about coups, about conflict, and about chaos, right? But let's ask, whose interests do these narratives serve? When the RFI broadcast statements on behalf of armed terrorist groups or France 24 interviews extremists for primetime drama, who actually benefits? Not the people of Mali, not the mothers of Burkina Faso, and certainly not the youth of Niger. The AES nations have had enough, and frankly, so have many of us across the continent. I do believe that this isn't just about censorship, but it's about sovereignty, and it's about building media that reflects the truths of our struggles and our triumphs without the colonial gaze and without distortion. However, with that being said, we're not saying that Mali's junta is perfect. We must always be vigilant when any government restricts press freedom or dissolves political parties. But we must also be very careful not to mistake foreign media power for journalistic purity. Because when former colonial master funds the microphones, owns the satellites, and actually edits the footage, that is not freedom of the press. That is power dressed in press credentials. And I do believe that we are in a new age right now, which is an age where African voices no longer whisper behind foreign headlines, an age where Pan-African media platforms are rising from our soil and built by our people to tell the stories of our resilience and our revolutionaries and our rights to define ourselves. The West may call it propaganda, but I call it progress. So, to the critics, if you're worried about bias, ask yourself why Africa's side of the story has never made it to your screens until now. And to Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, I say this: continue to tell your stories, build your own archives, and train your own journalists and reclaim the lenses through which the world sees you. Because the future of African truth must be told by African tongues. Now, with that being said, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. I really want to hear what your thoughts are on this. And while you're at it, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's it from me till we meet